Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome, fellow Toastmasters and guests, to the online meeting of online presenters of Virtual Toastmasters Club. I'm Sunny Fridge, aka Dr. Sunny, and it's a pleasure to be your Sergeant at Arms for 2025-2026. Guests, we know there are thousands of clubs that you could visit. We are so happy that you are here with us tonight. Please note, if you'd like to be a member of our club, you must be a current or former active member of Toastmasters International and have completed at least 6 Toastmaster official speeches. However, if you have substantial relevant presentation experience, we welcome you to apply for membership after demonstrating your abilities in a 2 to 3 minute speech delivered during one of our club meetings. All requests for membership are subject to approval by our club members. If you haven't already done so, please change your panel to ensure it displays your name and role. Just hover over your video, right-click, and select Rename. Please mute your microphone when you're not speaking. We have members and guests from many countries throughout the world. As a professional organization, we ask that you please be aware of language or word usage that may be considered offensive or otherwise insensitive due to cultural differences. Please note that we are recording this meeting. Your video and audio contribution may be used for club marketing purposes. And now, please help me welcome to the virtual stage our 25-26 club president, Joni Renee Laidlaw. Let me say that again. Our club president, Joni Renee Laidlaw. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you to our Sergeant at Arms, Sunny Fridge, for that introduction. Online presenters, today we have the first meeting of the 2025-2026 year, and I heard everyone discuss their upcoming goals for the year. But what I do ask is that we all remember that the importance of Toastmasters is to be cooperative and respectful, to be accountable, and to come through when we promise that we're going to do something. Now, generally what happens is that we may find that we're humans. Things occur. And because of that, we're going to have to learn to roll with the punches as well. So this year, we're going to try to lay plans. But if life happens, we roll with the punches. So far, we're working on some great ed features, nothing confirmed yet. We have Toastmasters who are so close. Some completed a level last year, but we're a couple speeches away with a previous level to do it. So I know that we are going to have an amazing year. And to help take us through this amazing year and teach us how to roll with the punches, but not too much, because I believe what he said he was going to work on for this year was laying the foundation to make sure that we had best laid plans. I'm not sure. I missed that part. I came in late. Just checking. Please help me welcome our Vice President of Education and our Toastmaster of the day today, Graham Carnes.
Thank you, Madam President. Yay! Well done, Joni. One of my favorite poets is the Robbie Burns, who once wrote, "The best laid plans of mice and men gang aft a gly." We've often heard of it as the best laid plans of mice and men go oft astray. But in fact, he said gang aft a gly, which I thought was a beautiful turn of phrase if you're Scottish. Things go wrong, which is part of the theme for tonight's meeting. The theme is working together. Sometimes you can't do everything on your own. And in fact, in Toastmasters, you shouldn't do everything on your own. I know that our president has said that this year, no is going to be a complete sentence for her at times. And having been a president of a club, I know that it's easy to say, oh, look, I'll just do it. Or if you're the Vice President Education and there is a hole develops in the agenda, just to go, oh, I will fill it in or whatever. But the thing is, sometimes things will go wrong and we just have to learn how to deal with it. We can do that by being collegiate. And that is the word for today. The word of the day is collegiality, a cooperative and respectful relationship amongst colleagues, often characterized by shared responsibility, teamwork, and mutual support. So, collegiality is the word of the day. Working together is the theme of the meeting. I am your Toastmaster for this meeting, which means that if you like, I'm the ringmaster of the circus. I am the master of ceremonies, but it is not my job to be all singing, all dancing. It is my job simply to guide the meeting along. To do that, I have some people who are going to be assisting me. And one of those is our timekeeper, Asil. Asil, can you show us how you will be indicating the times during tonight's meeting?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. In the spirit of collegiality, as a team player, I'm your timer, and I'll be timing 3 sessions. The prepared speeches, table topics, and evaluations. And all speeches, I believe, from 5 to 7 minutes. So I'll be showing these beautiful colors: green at 5 minutes, yellow at 6 minutes, and red at 7 minutes. And we have another session called table topics, and I'll be showing green at 1 minute, yellow at 1.5, and red at 2 minutes. And evaluation portion, 2 minutes green, 2.5 yellow, and red will be at 3 minutes. And at the end of the report, when I'm called upon, I will give my report. And I will raise my hand so you will see me at your left top corner of your screen. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you, Asil. So if Asil does put her hand up, which she'll do any moment, she will appear in the top left, and I can't point to left because it could be, I don't know, it's all too confusing, but she'll be there. You'll see her. Also tonight, we have a chat monitor. Now, that's a role that is largely restricted, well, almost entirely restricted to online clubs. Mahazur, welcome back, by the way, and thank you for stepping into chat monitor. Can you tell us what you'll be doing?
Mr. Toastmaster, our guest, I'm your back channel today. So I'm your back channel communication. I'll be monitoring your chat and I'll be engaging. So as the word of the day mentioned, collegiality, and I am your back channel for the chat. And wherever possible, I encourage all of you to engage in a friendly discussion. Of course, I'm watching. I'd love to get involved, and let's get the chat on fire.
Fabulous. Thank you for that, Mahazur. And Mahazur also has the role of letting me know as Toastmaster if something's going wrong and I haven't noticed it in the chat.
There you go.
Our vote counter is Joni Renee. Joni Renee, thank you for stepping in to do this. Are you going to be doing this using a super whiz-bang highly technical version, or are we just going to send you the votes in the chat?
I will be doing super whiz bang technical because there's been some changes to the website and I want to see how that works. And if not, you'll see someone in the chat that's not the chat monitor, either placing a link there or just send it to me via private message. But we'll see how today works out because the theme is interesting. Back to you, girl.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Joni. And Joni will also be our evaluator number 1, which I think is a fabulous thing that she's stepping into a couple of roles. We don't have a watcher. Carrie hasn't arrived, but again,
What? Wait a minute.
Yet our
let's
meeting
go to
ran
you,
late.
Sonny, because you were originally going to be the watcher, and then you were gazumped, so you're back. So,
That's
Sonny, what are
right,
you going to be doing as watcher?
I'm back. Let me find out. Hold on. Okay, thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. As watcher, I'll be keeping an eye on the visuals during our meeting. Things like camera angles, lighting, backgrounds, slides, maybe some body language, and overall video quality. Now, if I notice something that can be improved, like a distracting background or someone's face that's cut off in the frame, I'll send a friendly private chat in the spirit of collegiality so that they can fix it in the moment. And when called upon, I'll give a brief report highlighting what stood out visually, both the good and not so good, so that we can have some tips to help us all shine even brighter on screen. Back to you. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Sunny, and also for doubling up as our R counter as well. Yeah, I hate R counter, but hey, we've got an R counter, so thank you for doing that. She'll count the ums and ahs and all those
I'll
things.
count the ahs and the ums and filler words and sounds like you know, so like, and other distracting words by speakers. And when called upon, I will report the results at the end of the meeting. Back to you.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for stepping in. And that's one of the things I like about Toastmasters in general, but this club in particular, is our collegiality, our willingness to step up and to develop a relationship, a teamwork relationship amongst us all. This club is about online presentation, about learning how to deliver in an online environment. Many of us are members, not just of this club, but of other clubs, sometimes of brick and mortar clubs, as they're called, face-to-face clubs, where we present in a room with other people rather than online. But above all else, this remains a Toastmasters club. And at the heart of Toastmasters are three key components: prepared presentations, impromptu presentations, and evaluation. Which of those is more important? That's entirely up to you. You can make a decision. I now have opinions, but one of the things that I do love about Toastmasters clubs, and about this club in particular, is the willingness of members to give us something that we are not expecting, to give us prepared presentations. We have, in fact, 3 prepared presentations tonight. We have presentations coming up from Joseph, from Christine, and from Kirthikka. Our first speaker tonight is going to be Joseph Yang. And Joseph will be giving us a presentation on the benefits of strength training. Imagine a single habit that could help you lose weight, fight off disease, stay mobile as you age, and even boost your mood after a tough day. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it's not. It's strength training. Today, Joseph is going to break down what strength training really is, why it matters for your long-term health, and how anyone, yes, anyone, can safely get started. So, with the benefits of strength training, please welcome, for a period of 5 to 7 minutes with lights at 5, 6, and 7, Joe Yang.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Now, my fellow Toastmasters, when one thinks of strength training, one tends to think immediately of those really big, freaky-looking guys that participate in bodybuilding competitions, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. In fact, one might almost be persuaded that it is only for people who want to have really big muscles and look great on the beach. Well, I'm here today to tell you that that is simply not the case. In fact, almost everybody can benefit health-wise from strength training. Today, I'm going to tell you first what strength training is and is not. Second, all the health benefits that you get from strength training. And finally, how to get started. So, what is strength training? Well, everybody kind of knows what it is. It's simply a type of exercise that uses resistance, typically weights, to build strength in muscles. It is not, however, bodybuilding, which emphasizes training for large, bulky muscles that fits with a certain aesthetic. And it is not powerlifting, which is highly specialized and emphasizes explosively lifting really heavy weights. So if you see those guys on TV doing those things, don't worry. That's not what I'm talking about. And, oh, of course, it's not aerobic exercise or cardio, which mainly trains the heart and the lungs. So hopefully now that we got some of the misconceptions away, why do we need to increase our muscle strength? Most of us sit in offices, after all, and we don't really need, Hercules type strength to type on our keyboards. Well, the fact is there's so many health benefits to improving our muscle strength. It not only improves the size and the power of our muscles, which are critical for a number of metabolic functions, but also strengthens our ligament, tendons, and bones, which reduces risk of injuries from stuff like falls. In fact, strength training has benefits from multiple standpoints, physiologically, from a mobility standpoint, and also from a disease prevention perspective. So let's take them one at a time. From a physiological standpoint, strength training forces your muscles to adapt and become stronger and bigger. Multiple studies have shown that stronger and bigger muscles improve metabolism, which is very important because it helps with weight loss and decreases the risk of obesity. And for those susceptible to diabetes, stronger muscles actually improves insulin sensitivity, which is by helping to reduce by helping to regulate blood sugar, which is very important. From a mobility standpoint, and this is especially relevant for old folks, strength training could be critical to maintaining muscle mass as age-related muscle attrition or sarcopenia starts to take place. Further, not only are muscles strengthened, but also, again, the connective tissues around it, the tendons, the ligaments, and all get stronger with training. And this is critical for older folks because it reduces one of the key risks to mobility, which is falls, often due to reduced muscle mass or strength, and resulting, in worst case scenarios, broken bones. From a disease prevention standpoint, again, strength training has shown to be very effective in reducing a number of lifestyle-related illnesses. In addition to making muscles stronger and more adept at regulating blood sugar, strength training has also been shown to reduce the risk of heart disease, osteoporosis, and even certain types of cancer. And at least for me personally, from a mental health standpoint, nothing really beats pumping out some iron after a long, stressful day at work to unwind and relax. So that is all great, but what's the best way to get started, right? Well, before you do, especially if you have an existing health condition, it is very important to check with your doctors to see if strength training is actually right for you and at what intensity. But for the vast majority of people who are in decent health, it is probably fine. Now, my fellow Toastmaster, I can hear everybody say, well, that's all great, but Joe, I'm intimidated. I went to a gym a long time ago, and I don't want to set foot in one of those places again with those big guys with big muscles. Well, let me tell you something. From firsthand experience, most of those guys are super friendly and very nice in person. The bigger they are, the more likely that, they're actually big teddy bears inside. It's the smaller guys you need to watch out for. No, I'm just kidding. But jokes aside, depending on your goals, you might not even need to go into a gym if you buy the weights yourself. But if you're just getting started, it might be helpful to hire a personal trainer to just show you the ropes. A personal trainer will be able to work with you on your health objectives, whether it's weight loss or whether it's strengthening a particular muscle group. And so that they can actually help you and recommend the appropriate types of exercises for that. While most gym affiliated trainers are fairly good at their jobs, it's probably wise to do a quick search on the internet to make sure that they're properly certified. However, if you don't want to hire a trainer, there's tons of resources online and on YouTube that can help you get started. Just make sure that you start with super, super light weights so that your muscles are not put under too much stress. So my fellow Toastmasters, strength training is not just for building big bulky muscles. More importantly, vastly more importantly, the health benefits of strength training are really hard to ignore. Stronger muscles that improves metabolism and insulin sensitivity, stronger bones and connective tissues that ensures mobility for older folks, and reduced risks for some of the most scariest lifestyle diseases such as heart attacks. So next time, go ahead. Don't be afraid of the gym and just go sign up. But make sure you call your doctor first. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Joe, for some really good advice there. As I think I put in the chat, I do a couple of strength training sessions every week, which the Department of Veterans Affairs pays for here in Australia, because they believe that it improves my mental health. And as you said, sitting there, I don't like to sit there and run through, pump iron, but I know it's good for me, so I do it. Our second speaker tonight is Christine Staple Ebanks. Now, Christine is doing the presentation mastery path, and this is a level 2 project, understanding your communication style. Christine is a passionate advocate, a problem solver by nature, and a Toastmaster on the path to becoming a distinguished communicator. When she's not leading projects or caring for her son, she's dissecting the art of communications, especially her own. Today, she shares her insights from the Understanding Your Communication Style project. Please welcome Christine Staples Ebanks. Christine, your microphone is still muted. There we go.
It is often said that self-awareness is a first step to personal growth. When I took a Toastmasters communication style assessment, I just didn't see my results. I saw me in action. It said I was predominantly a direct communicator. I said, I already knew that. If communication styles were Olympic events, I'd take home the gold for direct communication. You see, small talk has always been challenging for me, one of the reasons I joined Toastmasters. I still hear the nicknames growing up: Force Ripe, Firefly, older than our years, though these days my age is catching up. But one thing has always stayed consistent: me saying directly or indirectly, just get to the point. I know that sounds too direct at times, and sometimes that gets me in trouble. Understanding your communication style was a great project for me. It highlighted the 4 basic communication styles: direct, supportive, initiating, and analytical. My results? They were crystal clear. My direct communication was off the charts. Support was moderate. Initiating and analytical, well, let's just say the bars barely move. So yes, I'm aware I'm decisive, focused, goal-driven, which is perfect for keeping meetings on track, perfect for problem solving, for project management, and even driving a special needs Mama Bear global movement. But here is the flip side. My brain stays on 24/7. And that doesn't always make me a great listener, especially with people who like to pause when speaking, analyze, or say, ruminate on their cat's cousin's dental surgery before getting to the point. True story. In today's world of working with others, collegiality is important, because being part of a team or working effectively with others means embracing the different communication styles, even the meandering one. So yes, I'm a proud direct communicator. But when someone like the analytical type says, I need a minute to process this, my inner communicator brain starts twitching. Just ask my husband. Now, don't get me wrong, I do care. I'm very thoughtful most of the times. Empathy and compassion are core values I strive to live by. But while some people speak with thoughtful pauses, my brain goes into overdrive, trying to figure out where they're heading so I can jump straight to the fix-it part. Joni once said she had foot-and-mouth disease. I think mine is more like brain on fast-forward, fix-it-now disease. Let me give you a perfect example. My sister Jennifer calls me every morning on our way to work, every evening on our way home, and sometimes on her lunch break whenever she has a problem at work. I'm self-employed, also caregiver to my son, Nathan, who lives with cerebral palsy. So my days are full, often packed with creating solutions, researching, writing, and care work. Recently, Jennifer called me clearly stressed. She started a new job and she was having problems with her supervisor. It was her lunch break and my last window to get work done before Nathan's bus arrived. She started talking and talking and talking, laying out the scene of how everything started. It was raining. I think it was about to rain. No, I can't remember. As she painted the background with the dedication of a sketchroom artist, I could feel my brain screaming, get to the point. I was already familiar with the challenge. It had been a centerpiece of our conversations for weeks. In my mind, I was already at the solutions, plotting the fix before she even got to the setup. She was still on who said what, and I piped in, listen, here is what you need to do. Don't give up what you have in your hands. A line from a movie I thought was very relevant. She paused and said flatly, like only big sisters do, Chris, I'm not done. I haven't even told you what the problem is yet. That brought me back to the moment, and I realized I had steamrolled it with my fix-it brain. I really valued this project. It felt like holding up a mirror to my communication style. And in the Toastmasters journey towards becoming a distinguished communicator and a speaker who actually moves people, that kind of self-awareness, gold. I was reminded that being a great communicator isn't just about being a great speaker. It's just as much about staying aware of the different communication styles that made up my audience and honoring those communicators in my presence by truly hearing them. 3 key lessons I walk away from with this project. 1, I must first understand the emotional tone in my room. 2nd, I need to read the moment, not just the message. And 3rd, I must recognize that not every conversation needs a solution. Sometimes it just needs a safe space to be heard. So my takeaway, yes, I'm a passionate, focused problem solver. And yes, my instinct always is to help. But sometimes the most powerful help I can offer isn't a 3-step fix. It's simply the gift of listening and honoring other communicators by holding space. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you for that valuable advice. That sometimes those who are speaking to us don't want us to solve problems, they just want to be heard. And that's something that, as communicators, we need to learn. I thank you for that. Our third speaker today is Kirthikka Devi Venkataram. Now, Kirthikka is powering ahead with her Toastmasters experience. And she's currently on her strategic relationships path. This is a level 2 project. We've just heard understand your communication style. This is the flip side of that project, if you like, understanding your leadership style. So with her project, it's not a destiny, but a journey. Please welcome Kirthikka Devi Venkataram.
Thank you, Toastmaster Graham. I was doing my second standard. It was last day of my schooling. I was busy planning my vacation. I wanted to have a great vacation and I was around my parents. I was making them to understand, yes, how important vacation is for this at this point in time. But suddenly what happened, they had different plans. They wanted to put me into a different school, a high quality of education where I can get a standard education, a different curriculum, a way where I can get lot many different number of friends from multiple cultural backgrounds. Initially, I resisted. I do not want to do this. I said this to my mother. She said, why don't you give it a try? It was a day before an entrance examination that I had to give to the school. My father used to travel around 30 kilometers every day on his field work as an engineer. He used to be late every single night. The day before the entrance examination, my mother was probing me a few questions. I was, as usual, bit playful and distracting her. I was doing my artwork during the quantity time and I did not give her enough time. What happened was, I just got a little cautious about what I should do now. Then also, again, I was a bit playful. It moved towards night time. During that night time, I was really felt ill. There wasn't any way for me to get out of my illness. My parents thought I will not be able to attend this entrance examination. They wanted me not to appear for this. They asked my suggestion. I told them. I had a clear purpose at that point in time. I understood what my parents also wanted and I wanted for myself. A quality education, good circle of friends, a clear vision towards my future. I said to my mother, Mom, at any cost, you get me to the entrance examination. Next day, there was an entrance examination. I went there. I took 45 minutes of written assessment, did the verbal communication with my teachers, came back. My parents were eagerly waiting outside to know what was the result. I went straight away to the park, started playing around, and I did not even care about what was happening. You know what happened? I was one among the 5 who got selected for people who attended around 200 plus for that standard. It was a school that had 10 branches, and each branch had at least 2,000 people. Soon after a year, I became the class leader. It did not just happen like that. Meanwhile, I competed in every single competition, every single chance that I had. I won prizes in every single competition that I participated. After which, some point in time, there were a lot of opportunities to put me into culturals, formal training, language course training, a Sanskrit training, which were all selected by the teachers, and that wasn't democratized at that point in time, and we did not have that leisure of doing it as well. Slowly, it moved forward. As a class leader, the style was different. They followed a vicious method. It was like, you will be punished when your classmates or your friends do not do your homework. I have to influence them. I have to make them understand the importance of education. This was a step in for me to know what exactly a leader should do. I started encouraging them. I started helping them out. I brought whatever I could do so that we will succeed at a later stage. This made me to participate in a competition which was hosted by Doordarshan, one of the popular government authorized broadcast channel in India, where all of my friends helped me during my non-availability, making the class progress success, and take a laurel, crediting me for their work to be done. Slowly, after my college days, I moved into a corporate world. I started to do whatever the work that I had in my hand, saying no to anything. I did every single development task with a lot of effort. It made me to affiliate myself. Earlier, I was cohesive. Now, I was affiliating myself to mingle with my teammates, got their confidence, and get their support to do the task. Slowly, it moved forward. I started to mentor few of the engineers who joined later after me, giving them the opportunity to learn what I learned. This organization was a product-based organization which was located outside of its native country, and that was one of the largest offshore development centers. I had the opportunity not only to mingle with them, but also had an opportunity to deliver great results with engaging with my peers, with a lot of collegiality that was inculcated and the culture that we nurtured. To strategize my approach, I did not have much enough time. So what I did was, I started to understand being a leader is not just doing something on your own. It is to influence others, to set the pace, being a pace setter, being democratic at time, giving them the opportunity to handle whatever they want. And even now, I am being a coach to few, which made me to rise up to multiple other opportunities at a later stage where I can lead organization level strategy-based approach and be a part of strategic-based initiative. So a leader is not born overnight. It's a journey that you need to follow. It's not a destiny. It's definitely a journey. Over to you, Graham.
Thank you, Kirthikka, for that. Thank you very much. And it is true. It is not a journey. It is not a destination, it is a journey. And I also am really, really pleased to see you stepping up into formal mentoring. You've spoken about being a mentor to some of the engineers during your time. I'm really pleased to see you stepping up into formal mentoring by completing, or at least beginning to complete, the sub path on mentoring in Toastmasters. And by the way, if any members have not done that sub path, which you can do after completing 2 levels of any project, it is well worth looking at, if only to reinforce the things that Kirthikka is talking about. Thank you very much for that. Those are our 3 prepared presentations today. But as I say, there are also impromptu presentations, which are an important part of Toastmasters. And to deliver the impromptu portion of this meeting, please make most welcome our topics master, Andrew Byrne.
Thank you very much, Graham. Let me just try and open this up. What I'm going to be doing is showing slides, if this works. And let me just go to my share and turn this on. Okay. Ooh, okay, come on. There we go. No, I'm definitely having the gremlins here. Open recent. Okay. Portion. Okay. This is not. Just give me one more moment here.
While Andrew is looking for his correct button, just a reminder in the chat, the please vote option has arrived. And yes, Joni, it does work. You can vote for one of the 3 speakers. All 3 speakers appear to be eligible, which is really good to know. So please go and click on the chat option, which is now, on the vote option, which is now in chat. How are we getting on, Andrew?
I think this will work. Let me just see here.
Ah, Andrew Byrne has started screen sharing.
Okay, do that. I don't see it on my screen here. All right, the first question is, we just came off of a US holiday for July, and I wanted to find out how you spent your 4th of July. Was it following a tradition, or is it just flying by the seat of your pants? Jim Barber.
Thank you, Mr. Topics Master, and my fellow Toastmasters. Both. It was both traditional and flying by the seat of my pants, in that basically I established a new tradition. We stayed at home. It was a quiet day. There were thunderstorms in the area, and frankly didn't feel like going out and taking a chance on getting rained on. If it wasn't raining, it was poor. If it wasn't pouring rain, it was hot. And so it was like stepping into a sauna. So we decided, frankly, let's put comfort ahead of everything else. Let's stay at home. We grilled hot dogs. We had a nice lunch. We watched the Macy's fireworks on the television. I did go outside just to see if there were any fireworks in the area that I could see, but there were too many trees around for me to really be able to get a good view. So we did it in, you might say, a modern, traditional way. We did it online, we did it through television, we did it through technology, but it was a very nice, in that sense, traditional 4th of July. So it was flying by the seat of my pants, because I tend to do a lot of that way, but it was also traditional, possibly a new tradition. And I'm just kind of stalling for time, because happy 4th of July is taking a long time getting here.
Okay.
Boy, that's a long 1 minute. But I'm going to keep on talking. Now, let me talk about the 5th of July, or maybe the 6th of July, because that's going to take the amount of time that's necessary. Oh, I don't know. Back to the 4th of July. It was a magnificent thing. It was a lot of fun. Ah, now I see a yellow light. I think it's time for me to quit. We're up to the 5th of July, and I'll tell you about that some other time, Mr. Topics Master.
Okay,
That's funny.
great. The next slide, which may or may not be showing. Are you seeing this slide? It's a slide.
Yes, we are. Yes.
Okay, good. So it's a slide of Donald and his sweetheart, and they're getting ready for their truck and taking a short vacation during this holiday time. The question goes to one of the members on what did you do for the holiday with your loved ones? Carrie, did you go anywhere special for the recent holiday in the United States?
Hello, Topic Masters and everyone. I just arrived in Boston this morning from North Carolina. It was a place called Asheville. To spend the time with my loved ones, especially my husband and his families on the 4th of July, just like this, like Donald Duck and his girlfriend, I don't know the name, but please
Daisy.
Daisy, yeah. As they were on the truck, we actually have a really good holidays on the truck too. Basically, on the 4th of July, that day was a big day to us. We drove from North Carolina, Asheville, to South Carolina in a place called Seneca. And then during that, there was a really famous lake. It was called the Cooey Lake. And then my my husband's sister actually has like a private boat that we can like take on the boat and then we go into the middle of the lake. So basically everyone was wearing like swimsuit. We just jump into the lake and have fun because we were playing around. You know what? I actually don't know how to swim. So they gave me some noodles, they gave me some life jackets that I can climb on. They say, after this holiday, you are going to learn how to swim, Carrie. This is how my loved one treated me and his family. And it was really fun because after that, like 5th of July, the next day, we actually had like a big barbecue. You know what we are actually getting? Because my loved one, my husband's family, actually, they love shooting. So they shot the deer. Yes, I tried deer meat for the first time in my life by like putting it into hamburgers, the hot dogs all together with like a chocolate smoothie. It was a fat meal, but also it can fit me really well. So these love really overwhelmed me and sometimes, but at the same time, I really enjoy the holiday season going down to South Carolina and enjoy the holiday season with his family that I felt tons of love. Back to you, Toastmaster, topic Toastmaster of the day, Andy.
Okay, thank you very much. If you're seeing the slide, it says Start with Why by Simon Sinek. In a very famous book, there's an expression in Toastmasters that leaders are readers. I don't know how many of you have read this book, but the important concept is the why. Why did you join Toastmasters? Is it okay to ask our guest, Mitesh, would you be willing to participate in this table topic?
Yes, I'm happy to participate, Topic Master Andrew Gunn. Why I joined Toastmasters? Back in 2014, I was searching for employment, and at that time I used to live in New Zealand. So being a very competitive environment with least industrialization, it was really hard to compete with fellow Kiwis. And yes, that actually pushed me to join Toastmasters. One of my friends, Dr. Mitul Shah, had pushed me to join Toastmasters to enable to improve my self-confidence and my personality in order to get a job. So I just joined Toastmasters at University of Canterbury in Christchurch. I joined Toastmasters on 1st of August 2014. And I did join for a few months and then I I left Toastmasters because I got employment. But I regret that now because I had an 8 year long break, and in that time I could have achieved heaps in Toastmasters. But I am glad I am back on track again with my Toastmasters journey from to August 2022, and I have progressed a lot in terms of my leadership skills, but I'm aiming to progress in terms of my communication skills as well. So I'm working on writing a book inspired someone inspired from me from Professional Speakers Association to write a book as well. So yeah, my goals are slowly but surely getting accomplished with Toastmasters. Over to you, topic master Andrew.
Thank you very much. You're very congenial in terms of your presentation. The next question goes to someone that wants to share with us something about this. First off, do you know who came up with this tell, teach, and involve expression? That's right. We just had a 4th of July celebration, and one of the founding fathers was responsible for this 3-word folder over here, and that was Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin said, teach, involve, and tell someone what you're teaching them. And the 3 sentences involved in this is tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. Toastmasters is an experiential experience for learning. Marianne Grady, you just finished as the president of this club. How does tell, teach, and involve resonate with you in terms of how you conducted your last year or this past year?
Well, thank you for that question, Mr. Table Topics Master. I'm actually going to flip it because I'd prefer to talk about it in terms of my employment. And I had a team, and each year what we did when it was review time was we'd set a stretch goal, something that was a little beyond their current capabilities. And we would have some kind of meetings to talk about how we were going to learn this, how we were going to accomplish this. But it culminated in this person actually taking on this role and doing it with, kind of somebody paying attention to it and evaluating them. So it does kind of work like the Toastmasters model. But with this, by the end of the year, a new skill had been mastered and accomplished, and it gave me something to give him a raise for the next time around. So I always loved this, and I loved growing my people, and I loved helping people reach their potential. And I believe that they enjoyed it too, because when I'd first give it to them, I'd get the big eye roll, like, oh God, I can't do that. But at the end, they could. And it was just really nice to see that feeling of accomplishment rise up within them. So that's my tell, teach, and involve moment. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Okay, thank you. What you see on the screen now is the typical expression of SMART goals. And this is what Toastmasters is actually doing in terms of the 10 goals that they've set out for all clubs to accomplish in their year. Sunny Bridge, why don't you talk about SMART goals and how they relate to the Toastmasters Distinguished Club program or the DCP program and how that relates to SMART goals?
It's smart to do SMART goals. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. In terms of the DCP program, if that's what you just asked, I can speak better about just in general for clubs in general. The more specific or focused you can be is always helpful. And measurable, instead of just saying, I want to do a speech, perhaps if you get with the Vice President of Education, you can measure it by saying, I want to do 4 speeches by February. That's going to help you and your club. In terms of something being attainable, wanting to be a world champion of public speaking is a really high attainable goal, but it can be done. Graham Cairn is one who proved it because he actually got to district level. And if he keeps going, he will probably, most likely, make it to the world stage. And that's because he did his speech not once, not twice, not 4 or 5 times, but probably dozens of times to get better at his message. And so that definitely not only helps him, but it also helps and inspires others. And relevant, making sure that it is relevant. Pretty much in Toastmasters over the years, I have learned that almost any speech you can do can be figured out. Everything is figure outable if you do your speech. They can figure out, along with your VPE again, or another Toastmaster or a mentor, where that would fit regarding the levels. That's what I'm trying to say. And finally, just time-based in general, try to do it before the year is over. And now, in a spirit of collegiality, I think it's great that we're all making teamwork and we're making the dream work. Back to you.
This should be pretty much one of the last ones, unless we have more time. But this one says the 80-20 rule. 2% of your effort gives you 80% of your results. This will help you see the most productive tasks accomplished. And it gives some examples that you can see on the screen. This one goes to Joni, who's learning how to say no and be a great delegator. Do you follow the 80-20 rule in your work?
I do not, and I'll state why. It's very simple. For a holistic person, and for those who don't know what an holistic is, it's someone who thinks according to societal standard and how the neural hierarchy has been set up, meaning your thought pattern aligns with hierarchy and how that is set up when it comes to work. The 80-20 rule, yeah, that might work because you'll be able to motivate yourself in a certain way. Now, for those who are neurodiverse, which means we don't think according to society and what they believe it should do, we're actually interest-based persons. There is no judging the percentage. You're all in or you're all out. Therefore, sometimes your 100% looks like 500% to someone else. And sometimes your 100% is 10%. I believe that on the days that all you have is 10%, you've given 100% because all you had that day was 10%. And on the days that you have 20,000%, it's about the overall effort that you put in. I know people who do things in 10 minutes that take other people hours. And I know people who take days to do things that people can do in literally 10 minutes. It's why I don't subscribe to things like the 80-20 rule. What I believe is where your interest goes, that's where output flows. And that's actually what's more important, for you to find out what you can do, find out what you're good at, what your limitations are, and most importantly, finding a support system of collegiately inclined persons who will be able to support you with their 10 minutes for what takes 15 hours. And you can support them with your 10 minutes for what would take them days, weeks, months, or years. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Okay. At this point, it's 8:40 Eastern Time. And I know we have to go through 3 evaluations, so I'm going to either give it to the Toastmaster of the day or directly to the general evaluator to bring on our evaluation section, whichever you prefer.
I'll take it back from you, Andrew. Thank you very much. I'm just looking at the timing and I'm going to, yep, everybody was eligible. So please, when the option comes up, can you go and vote for the best table topic presenter? And I see they're there. Just a couple of observations I wanted to make after Andy's table topics. One, I love that phrase, where your interest goes, that's where output flows. I'm going to use that. I think that's terrific. And the other thing is, we don't celebrate the 4th of July here in Australia because it's an American holiday, obviously. But I do want to say, without the 4th of July, this country, Australia, would not exist as Australia for 2 reasons. One, it was your revolution that caused the British to send convicts to Australia. They used to send them to North America, but then you had a revolution and they couldn't send their convicts there anymore. They had to send them somewhere. And we had this great big lump of land that they decided to send their convicts to. But the other thing is that if there had not been an American Revolution, then England probably would not have given us independence without any argument 100 and something years later. So for all your failings, I thank you, America, for having your revolution. Let's move on now. It is time for the general evaluation. Now, I said before there were 3 parts of a Toastmasters meeting. There's the prepared presentations, which we've seen. There is the impromptu presentations, which we've just heard. And then there is what for me is the most important part of Toastmasters, and that is the evaluation. There is no point in us sitting here in our little rooms or standing at a lectern or whatever and delivering if we're not getting feedback. And so to lead the feedback session, please welcome your general evaluator for today, Marianne Grady.
Well, thank you, Graham. Very nice to be with you all tonight. Tonight, our evaluation team will endeavor to educate and evaluate with collegiality and compassion. We are going to be first evaluating our prepared speakers. We have somebody assigned to each speaker, and I will call them up individually. You will hear their evaluation and you will learn. So please welcome Joni Laidlaw, our president, as she evaluates Joe Young's talk on strength training.
Joe, your pace, tone, and eye contact were exemplary. You were actually looking at us while you were speaking, and you were speaking at a pace and a tone that I could easily follow and easily understand. It was a good topic, and the information that you used was supportive. It didn't contain very topic related or experience related subject matters, you know, the showing off that I'm a gym bro and I know the names of the machine and the different parts of the anatomy, and I can state to you that your gluteus maximus will be enhanced by using, which would lose everybody if you're not actually a gym bro. It made it quite relatable based on your use of simple language that we could all understand, even if we've never been in a gym a day in our life. You actually had some very interesting points, and I like the fact that you highlighted what people might be afraid of. For example, going in to see other people who are more experienced than them doing it, and they would think that people might bully or mock them, so that would cause them to not want to engage. And you offered a solution in your speech to say, well, you know what, you may think that's the case, but that's not. What I would suggest that you could do to make things better is, well, add a call to action. For example, my fellow Toastmasters and our guests get started. The successful business owner will never laugh at you for starting a business. The successful leader will never make you feel bad while you're learning your leadership style. The experienced leader will not mock you for making grammatical errors. As such, the experienced bodybuilder will not laugh at you for getting on the treadmill for the first time. Take from that, what is success? You also have the option where you could have inserted the word of the day, and I'll give you an example. You stated that they're teddy bears. You could actually say that they're teddy bears full of collegiality. How else do I think that you could make this more relatable? Your framing. I saw that you made the change. I really did, because it used to just be a head. Now I see all the way to down here. But the thing is, your gestures are still lost because you're not framing to show your actual arms, and you have a little bit of space above your head. So what can I suggest? Frame down just a little bit more, because I could see that you were doing gestures, but I couldn't see that you were doing gestures. And that makes so much of a difference when it comes to your contact. Overall, though, as an official Couch Potato Bedbug, good luck if you're going to see me in a gym. I will take advice as per what you stated, that get started, because the persons who already have probably won't be the ones laughing at you. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Well, thank you, Joni. A very good evaluation. Next up, we have Jim Barber, who is evaluating a speech that I could really relate to. Get to the Point by Christine Staple Ebanks. Please, Jim, give us your evaluation.
With pleasure, Madam Toastmaster, Madam General Evaluator. Christine, this was another exceptional presentation. You've given several, as I would describe them, exceptional presentations. This was another one. You are just knocking them out one after another. You have the almost unique capability of combining professionalism and conversation. Your professional presentation establishes you as an authority. You obviously come across as knowing what you are talking about. Yet you also present in a conversational way, which brings the audience in and it allows you to establish a great rapport with the audience. For example, you were giving your content very professionally, and then you said, just ask my husband. That was an aside. It wasn't part of the presentation, but it worked so nicely. It brought us into your inner domain where you weren't speaking to us. You were having a conversation with us. That was superb. However, I've got to tell you, I was most interested in your slides, and I had a video for doing this, and let's see if I can get rid of it. Just my background. There it is. Okay. Knew I'd eventually find it. I loved your use of slides. Sometimes speakers, in using slides, they inundate us with slides. They give us too many slides and there's too much content on the slides. You provided us with two simple slides, one of them illustrated right here, and each one was very simple and direct in what they told us. I loved the way that you did that. That was superb. That was terrific. It does lead me to a couple of suggestions that I have for you. This is nothing that you did wrong. This was, in my opinion, a flawless presentation. This is just simply something that could make it a little bit better. One of them involves the slides. You had a great 2-character slides there. I would have liked to have seen the third slide. At the end of your speech, you were talking about your 3 key suggestions, but that was a great opportunity to put those up there and show us in the slide what those 3 key points were, and you didn't do that. I would like to have seen that. The other thing, you can't really see it on the slide here, but your earbuds are wired, which is okay, so are mine, but yours have a white wire, and the white stands out. It was just a little bit distracting, nothing horrible, but if you either put the wires behind you so that they're coming over your shoulder, or if you went to a black wire earbuds, so kind of like I'm using here, it wouldn't be as noticeable. But these are 2 tiny little points in, as I say, an exceptional performance. And the only thing that I have left to say is congeniality. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Well, thanks, Jim. And I really loved your little tip about the earbuds, because those are the kinds of things as online presenters that we do need to be aware of. And even though it is, as you say, a small thing, It just makes us that much better. So thank you for that, Jim. Now, our next evaluator is our guest, Mitesh, and he will be evaluating Kirthikka Devi Venkataram's speech about mentoring. So please welcome our guest, Mitesh.
Thank you, General Evaluator. I'll be evaluating Kirthikka Devi Venkataraman tonight on her project, Understanding Your Leadership Style. Kirthikka, congratulations on delivering this project. This project is very dear to me. I delivered this project, and I know that the time I have spent uh, after making this speech to deliver this project. It was a very good start, Krithika, and your presentation was very good. You had it had a very interesting story as well. I noticed that you excelled at eye contact, your hand gestures, your voice was pretty uh, expressive, and your story kept the audience interested throughout the speech. And I noticed that you mentioned quite a lot of examples in your speech wherein you change your leadership style according to your scenario and your situation given. And that is absolutely marvelous. However, I do think that you could have mentioned your preferred style and the style which you like the most. You could have mentioned that in your speech. Along with that, I thought you could have included a question for the audience at the very beginning, or you could have started with a popular quote by a popular whoever leader or something like that. However, I felt that your presentation was pretty interesting, and you narrated a very interesting story, your real life story, where you engaged everyone, your classmates, in the beginning you said how you influence your mom to change her decision as to where to go in your career. That was really interesting. That clearly demonstrated uh, that you are capable of really adapting to different leadership styles in different situations. I challenged Kritika to add uh, a bit of humor uh, in her speech and enable audience participation by making it more interactive. But overall, I felt that the speech was steadily paced and was easily understood by the audience. That's about it, and I look forward to hearing more speeches from you, Kritika. Over to you, General Evaluator Marian.
Well, thank you, Mitesh. We really appreciate you stepping up into the role tonight. Now I will ask our timer, Asil, have all of our evaluators qualified?
Yes, Madam General Evaluator, I posted timing in the chat.
Thank you kindly, ma'am. And Joni will be sending you out the link to vote for your best evaluator. Next up, we have the counter, Dr. Sunny Fridge.
Oh, thank you, Madam General Evaluator. We did very well today. Joseph had one well, but you did have 5 so's, one and a but. Christine also had 2 buts. Kirthika just had really maybe one Mitesh, you had 2 when you spoke before, and you had 2 uhs when you spoke as an evaluator and 1 so. Marianne, you had 5 ands when you were in, I think it was in the impromptu speaking, and 2 so's. Other than that, we did pretty well. And we will stop trying to say so. And for now, I'll just hand it back over to our general evaluator.
So,
So.
thank you kindly, ma'am. Okay. Next up, we are calling our grammarian, Sherry Blake, to the virtual stage.
Thank you so much, Marianne. So my job as the grammarian is to track the word of the day. It is to also choose, track the word of the day. I was supposed to listen to all speakers and take note of excellent word choices, effective phrases, and vivid language. And I was also supposed to note common grammatical errors. So I did that, but I think I noticed more of the good than the grammatical errors. So let's start off. So Joe, a lot of the speakers said things as I am caught up in their talk and sometimes drifting, but a lot of you said things that caught my attention. So Joe, I liked when you said vastly. That kind of like perked me up and I said, oh, okay, I like that. I like that he used the word vastly. Christine, you had quite a few phrases that I liked. You said the centerpiece of our conversation, emotional tone, and every conversation doesn't need a solution. I love that one because I'm always thinking that when sometimes my friends are giving me their opinion that I don't want. Kirthikka, I liked when you used engaging with coworkers and pace setter. And Sunny, I have to say that I had to look up your word because I did not know if figureoutable was a word. But figureoutable is a word used. It's not common. I know there's a book, but I said, wait, this is Dr. Sunny Fridge using figureoutable. I said it has to be a word because it's Dr. Sunny Fridge using it. But I had to look it up, and it was a word, figureoutable. I love that one. Okay, so now, Mitesh, you had said that you wanted to improve. You said to improve myself. What you could have said also was to better myself, to improve, to grow. Joni, you said I see. Now, I forgot after you said it what context you were using it in, but I think I saw that you were doing gestures. And Mitesh, as the evaluator, you said, or something like that. Perhaps use or something similar. That kind of came to mind when you said it, that maybe you could have said or something similar. And that is all. Oh, I'm sorry. And then the word of the day was used by, and I hope I didn't miss anyone, Graham, Kirthikka, Sunny, Marianne, and Jim Barber. Back to you.
Wonderful report, Sherry. Thank you so much. Now, we're running out of time quickly, so I'm going to ask our watcher and chat monitor to go very quickly through your reports. Carrie Kong, the watcher.
I did do the watcher today, Madam General Evaluator.
Oh,
And just
okay.
really quickly, I was trying to see if I could get these slides up really quickly. Joe, just be careful when you are gesturing. Sometimes your hands get lost in the moment. I also thought Christine had some good slides, and this one, the way you have it centered next to you or to the right of you, it's a good job. And Kirthikka, same thing with your gestures. Just watch when you practice to see whether or not you might need a little more light. And in general, when I asked everyone today to smile just before our meeting, we did a great job. If I was a visitor, I sure would want to come back again. Back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Sunny. Now, Officer, can you give us your report, please, as the chat monitor? Can't hear you.
Oh, there you go, double muted. I am going to take 30 seconds. I was taken away. I was lost with the most speeches I was taken away by fly by the seat of your pants. Teamwork is dream work, and your input goes where output follows. And I can say that the chat has been on fire. All of you, I thank you. It's been great to see everyone back on fire with the chat. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you kindly. And now I'll give you my report, and it has a lot of kind of grammarian-ish kind of things. So Graham, useful turn of phrase. Joe, I have to compliment you on your initial hook, because when you're talking about strength training, you know, it might just appeal to a certain type of person, but you talked about people with diabetes and weight loss, and everybody on this thing has something on your list. So you made everyone want to listen to your speech with that hook. You used the phrase Herculean strength. Christine, don't give up what you have in your hands. Steamrolled it with my fix-it brain. Sunny, it's smart to do smart goals. That just cracked me up for some reason. And Jim, just be careful with your hands because you were gesturing a lot and they were disappearing. They were pixelating. So, you know, I don't know if you can do something in your background, or move a little bit slower. But that's all I got for you today. I will ask for our vote counter to take the stage. And please pass it back to our Toastmaster of the day when you're done.
All right. Well, I am attempting to check on our handy dandy voting tool. And according to our handy dandy voting tool, guess what? It's our first meeting and everybody won. So I will go with it's our first meeting and everybody won. So I'm going to return control to our Toastmaster of the day.
Everybody won. Everyone's a winner, babe. Fabulous. Thank you for that. Yes, technology is sent to try us. That's it for me. I have a couple of things as Vice President of Education, but I'll do those after we stop the meeting because I want to hand control back to the President so she can ask for any comments from our, well, we only have one guest today, and that's Mitesh, who's been here a couple of times. But anyway, it's all yours, Madam President, to close out the meeting. Yes, no, maybe.
Joni, remember you're now president.
Yeah, that one took a bit. I was actually on the voting tool. The results moved. I just found them and they're now in the chat. There you go. So
congratulations, Christine, Joni Renee, and Joni Renee. Well done. Yeah, that's why you didn't want to announce them, because you didn't want to show off.
No, I found it. I genuinely did find it after the fact. This was not a me being humble thing. I'm working on my not being humble anymore. I mean, after all, who is gonna toot my horn if not me? So we're going to start this way. Everybody, the website went down. The website is back up. Yay, the website is back up. Now, I know that we're used to me being behind the scenes, sending suggestions to everybody and volunteering. But this year, what we're going to work on is personal accountability. So I'm going to ask, except for in the cases when the website goes down, that we go onto the website and select the roles that we would like to be a part of for a couple of reasons. One, it helps our role players to not make mistakes. And if we are going to be impromptu, can I ask that we do actually put in the effort to rename ourselves so that we know the roles that everyone is doing, or we can designate someone to rename us. That way it helps with the flow of our meeting so everybody understands what everybody else is doing, because when you're doing a lot and wearing many hats, sometimes you may get confused. The other thing I'm going to ask is whoever Graham picks for the Toastmaster of the day, it helps if there is a theme so we can fall in line in the rest of our role. For example, the grammarian can align the word of the day with the meeting theme, or the table topics master can choose to use the meeting theme to prepare their table topics. So I'm going to suggest, I know I was overbearing and trying to be collegiate, but as Christine just advised me stop it. So I'm going to listen to her advice and stop it, which means that we're going to ask that we all take the initiative to put in the effort on our part. And then after we've chosen to say, I will do it, here's the important part, here's the important part, actually show up and follow through, or find somebody to do it on your behalf if you cannot. So we're looking forward to a great year. I have taken into account everything that everybody says, and I look forward to us having great educational features. And I'm going to turn over to we're over time, so I now call the meeting adjourned.